Welcome back. Let's talk about another question that gets asked a lot in interviews. Tell me about a problem that you had and how you overcame it, or how you solved it. Again, a very common question. How do you answer this? Well, we should know this by now. This should be prepared. We should be ready when they ask this question, or any variation of this type of question. Ideally, you have a big project from a past company that you worked with, or a personal project that you can answer this with. Again, going back to our portfolio and how we want to have 1 to 2 big projects, so we can answer questions like these and also impress the interviewer. Now, with these type of questions, we want to use something called the SAR method, S-A-R method. That is situation, action, and result. When asked this question, we start off with the situation. We tell the interviewer, this is how the project was, this is the problem that we had. This is the situation. The second part is the action. What did you do to solve that situation? I did this. I wrote a piece of software. What did you do? How did you try and solve? And then the result is what happened after you took that action. The number of users increased. The performance of the website improved. So SAR, situation, action, result. This shows exactly what the problem is, what you did with the problem, and how you solved it. And you see over here, the second point, we want to have metrics and numbers. If you're able to give numbers to the interviewer, it sounds impressive. If I say, I improved the performance of a website, or I increased the number of users, that doesn't sound impressive, versus saying something like, the website performance improved by 50%, or we increased our monthly active users by 30%. Again, something that you can prepare ahead of time in your stories. This is why when I talked about the portfolios, we want to focus on big projects versus many small projects. Because when you get asked this question and your problem is that you had a difficult time building a to-do list app or a small little app, it's not going to sound impressive. That's what everybody else does. Instead, talk about a real problem. And that's something that we've built in past courses where we talked about difficult problems such as caching, scaling, performance, security. And these three over here, scaling, performance, security, are really, really good things to talk about. If you're able to use one of these, of how you improve security, how you improved performance, how you improved scaling, it's going to be really impressive because all companies have these problems and they want people that can solve these type of problems. You have to be careful here. You can't just make up stuff or say things that you cannot back up. Expect that once you answer this question, the interviewer is going to ask you more details about it. So if you improved caching in the app to improve performance, you better be sure that you're going to get asked how you did it in more detail. So be able to answer those. But again, with enough preparation, this should be fairly easy to you. As a side note, if this problem happened to be with maybe a teammate or your work team wasn't performing well, don't be negative. Again, never place blame on clients or coworkers or bosses. Just simply state the problem and say how you helped solve it. People don't really want to work with complainers. They want to work with people that just get to work, solve problems, and move on. Keep in mind, don't be robotic when answering questions. Be human. And a good way to think about this is if you saw yourself on TV answering this question, will you like yourself? And that's really it. So go out there, have this question prepared because you're for sure going to get asked this question. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, I lied. There's one last thing. And that is, you're going to get a variation of this question, such as tell me about an interesting project you've worked on. And they're very similar. The goal here is to talk about an impressive project to wow the interviewer and tell them how, A, you're different because you're building these interesting things, but also how you've worked with what the company is looking for in the past. So you've worked with JavaScript, you've worked with C#, you've worked with C++. Whenever you're talking about a project, about a problem you solved, you always want to bring it back to what the company right now is looking for. Because at the end of the day, that's what they care about. They care about, can you solve the problems? So again, make sure you stand out and make sure you're related to the job. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Yeah.